had 4 kids before we came here, and it just seemed like there was something missing with all of them. We started out with our first. I think we just didn't really know what to expect, which is funny because I'm third of 8 kids and she's third of 5. So it's not like we came from small families or anything. But what did you think when you had Nora? What was it?
Our first birth was just, we say ill-informed, because we just did what the doctor told us to, and went in the night before and had a cervix ripening and was sick the whole night. I remember a few days after she was born saying, I feel like I got hit by a bus. Everything ached. And so I knew that wasn't the right way. With our second birth, we had it in a hospital as well. Our doctor didn't come for some reasons. We had a different doctor. And it was a day on Pitocin. We went in to get induced. We didn't know anything else. We just waited the whole day for the baby to come. We decided to do hypnobirthing with our third baby and had that baby naturally in the hospital. But it was awful. And then we had to go check in the middle of the night and sat in the emergency room while I was laboring. So with everybody who has broken bones and is coughing and
the ER nurses are like, are you sure you're having this baby? I don't know.
Because I was so
How
calm.
far along are you? And yeah.
So when we finally got up to the room, they didn't believe us that we were in labor, but I was at a 7. And then it was just a fight with the staff too, because I wanted to labor in the tub and they didn't want that. So he had to get pretty aggressive.
At that point, we'd learned a little bit about what we wanted and what we could and couldn't do. So I was better able to advocate for her in the hospital.
But she wanted to give it an IV and that was a fight. And so we had to call the doctor. It was a lot of fighting in the hospital. And then after the baby came, I was left alone in a dark room for 2 hours without my baby and without him. And that was a very traumatic experience for me.
For the record, we have decided that I go with the babies in the hospital. That's one thing that we talked about. But then the nursing staff and everyone just left her alone.
We wanted a peaceful childbirth. And I knew I couldn't go back to a hospital. So I just started looking online for ways to have a baby and not in a hospital. And we found it and came in, and that was during COVID. So we toured and everything felt so peaceful and calm, and I could bring my kids with me. And it felt so right.
It was like we were coming home. It really was. I mean, and Loretta in the birth, it was the same. She was amazing. Like, I never felt alone, and we might have felt alone. Did you ever feel alone?
My favorite part is stepping out of your car, stepping across the sidewalk, and Loretta has it all ready for you. Again, it was in the middle of the night. We have all our babies in the middle of the night. But it was just so easy to come in, and everything was ready and cozy and prepped and made it conducive to have a baby.
Loretta made everything so easy and explained things and supported us.
I just Googled birth centers near me, and there's not a lot. I was excited that it was so close to us, but there's not a lot to choose from. After coming and seeing and being reassured that it was so close to a hospital, because a lot of pressure from other people when they find out you're going to a birth center, they have lots of questions. And they
forget that people have been having babies for thousands of years naturally, just fine, like without an epidural or a surgery.
Just the positive atmosphere, and then understanding how competent everyone was here, and then the proximity to the hospital, all those things combined.
When I called Loretta in the middle of the night, it was like I was calling, it was very similar to the phone call I had with my mom.
Yeah. And I am passionate about that. I want women to understand that you can choose a different birth. You don't have to go to a factory and follow all the protocols. That's what I feel like I'm doing when I go to a hospital. But you can educate yourself, understand what your body can do, understand your options, and really have a peaceful birth experience.
I feel like all of my kids were a spiritual experience. I definitely felt so comfortable here and so supported here. And I mean, like I even got to catch Fab. I mean, she was my 5th child, and no one had ever said, "Oh, do you want to do this or that?" And Loretta's like, "You're gonna catch, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am."
I like having a baby and then getting up and walking away. Like I went and got my kids off the bus that day. Just how good you feel empowered, but you also aren't encumbered by the effects of, an epidural or whatever. So my favorite part's leaving. And then they come to your house after and take care of you there in the comfort of your home. So
that was also beautiful. I felt like we had grown closer together. And it wasn't her first natural childbirth. She'd had our third naturally too. So that wasn't a new thing. But I felt like we had grown closer together, and it was something that we had really bonded over more and with us, and rather than being gone from the room for, like she said, 2 hours. Like we were just there. I had my baby in my arms, and I had her in my arms, and
do you think that's because you
we were
an active
together.
Participant in the birth? More so here than at the hospital?
Yeah, I think so. Just we were in it together. You're not gonna feel alone, and you're not gonna feel like it's on you. You're gonna feel included and comfortable. So don't be afraid, guys, because really, I would say I had more support here than I ever did in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Continuous. I mean, and like I said, Loretta even made me breakfast when I was like starving in the middle of it all. And I was like, this is, wow. I felt more support. I felt more welcome and comfortable. And that was even in COVID, when at that time it was like, you can come in, but you have to have a mask and you have to do this. And like, they don't consider the fact that you are, like, this child is going to be around you all the time anyway. Like, there's preventing things for 15 minutes isn't going to change anything. Like, we were just here, and it was like we were family.
Yeah.
Incredible. We are a family. I mean, like everyone.